All right, good morning, guys. Today's day number 7 of checking in. My goal is to build my social media agency to $1 million a year. These videos, I'm just talking about what I'm struggling with, what I'm doing, what's working, so that you can hopefully learn from my mistakes. I've been growing these businesses over the last year, and it was completely on accident. I had no idea what I was doing, and I still don't know what I'm doing, but I'm figuring it out. So anyway, today was actually a really good day. Like I feel like I've been able to kind of lock back into my work routine, and it hasn't happened. So I moved up here to Scottsdale like in May, so June, July, August, like 3 months ago. And ever since then, it's been really, really hard to stay focused and just have a routine. Like I'll just get distracted, or I feel like I'm very spread thin because I have a little bit of a team, but not as much of a team as I should have. And I'm not very good at passing on responsibility and delegating things and things like that. And so the last few months have been just really draining on me. Like I used to be able to stay up for hours, and like 2 a.m. I'm like, all right, I think I'll go to bed because I want to, not because I feel like it. And then the last few months, it's like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. I'm just like, I don't fucking want to work on anything. So I just go crawl in bed. Like I'm so burnt out and just over it. But the last few days, that's come back quite a bit. So I was able to lock in and get a lot of stuff done. But the point of this video is I almost lost, and Dylan, I think this is a good like title for it. I almost lost like a $60,000 a year deal, which is kind of big, kind of a big deal. Um, Actually, it'd be 72. That's crazy. 72 a year for one person, right? And now this is a lot. Like they're wanting to do a ton of stuff, and it's going to be a stretch for me for sure. But it's like, damn, that's a good deal. And we got a verbal yes after our strategy session a couple weeks ago. We weren't going to start till the end of the month, so I just held back on sending the service agreement, sending like all the stuff. I'm like, oh, we'll just send it closer. And for me, the big reason on that was like, I just didn't want to feel like I'm pressuring them. I didn't want to just be like, okay, cool, sign the service agreement, let's get it locked in, let's go. And I think this is my speculation, but I think because of that, it it created a little bit of like uncertainty almost, and it gave them time to think about, oh well, is this worth it or not? Like, is this a good price? And so I got a text today that said, hey, we had a call with our accountant, and I just don't think I think that's too much for us to swing. And I'm like, fuck. Which, yeah, anyway, I was like, well, this sucks. And so, anyway, my primary goal, and I think this is why my churn is so low, is like, I genuinely, I want to put my clients first. If they're having a rough month and they don't think they can pay for it, like, it's cool. I'm going to be able to eat. Like, my bills are paid, like, my needs are met. I'm okay. I can work with them, and I'm willing to do that. And I also have been telling people straight up front, like, hey, this is a lot of money. I work really closely with a handful of people. This isn't like a, churn and burn or come in, get the lower person on the totem pole. Like I genuinely work with you and strategize. And because of that, it's not very cheap. And I'm like, and so if the commitment, the investment is too much for you to comfortably swing for 3 to 6 to 9 months, like don't do it. There's other ways that you can spend your money and other things that you can do that I think would be better. And that's genuinely my mindset. Like I know it's expensive. You're getting like fractional CMO on top of content. Like of course it's going to be expensive. And so, I part of me, I wanted to like snap back and be like, well, you're spending a lot of money on these other things and da da da. But it's like, if I think about it from a point of empathy, it's like, hey, look, I totally understand. Like, you are spending a lot of money and this is a big investment. There's other options. And, this lower priced option was one option that we talked about, and we've got these different options. So, here's what I would do. Start with this point. We can move up after you see the value, after you build up some cash or two. And then I just told them how to build a content, like an in-house content agency. I was like, you could go on here, you could hire some freelancers. You would have to manage them, you would have to give them direction, but I could also do consulting. Like, I came from a point of like guidance and authority, like, hey, here's some other options for you. And what that turned into is like, well, what was the original proposal? And then we talked about it, and then they they told me what their real budget was and asked if I could meet them there. And so I set some stipulations because I can meet them there and we'll be okay. But it's still going to be a big lift. But it's like, so now the retainer moved, but it's a lot better than completely losing it. And I just like, that's something that, I've had happen before last year. It was probably my first. I think I pitched like a $4,000 retainer or something, which is before that, my prices were like $1,000 a month. And so this was just such a big nervous thing. And I didn't really follow up. I didn't really have authority. I just like, here you go. And then I just let it sit. And like that causes uncertainty. And so moving forward, like after the strategy call and the pitch, it's like, hey, this is what most people do. You get your credit card going, we get to work right away getting everything set up, and we'll set our content day. Like I just need to move into it that way, get them their first mini win, and just close it instead of kind of being wishy-washy. So that was the experience today. That was really stressful, but it was exciting because everything's going. I got a lot of stuff done. And yeah, no, I'm really excited. So anyway, that was a big focus. And the second part of what I worked on today for day number 7 was building out the org chart and figuring out what that looks like. Like I just went into ChatGPT and I was like, hey, I'm spending way too much time doing this and doing this and doing this and doing this. I need to make key hires that can handle those things and have the ownership. And we came up with an idea. Lynn is my CSM is great. My content manager is great. And those are really core pieces of the team. And I need to build out the rest to where I can just say, hey, this needs done, trust that it gets done, and just, let it happen. So that was the other focus for the rest of the night yesterday, was trying to figure out what those key hires are and what that looks like. And ChatGPT gave me a compliment, said my margins are insane and most agencies can't touch them. And I think that's probably pretty true, but it's because I'm doing everything myself. Like, of course they're insane. I don't have the team to handle everything. I'm not doing everything myself. Like a lot of the hard work is covered, but I need to get the rest of like the ops team built out. So I have somebody consistently doing ads. CSM's great. We can handle a few more clients. And then I need to bring in some kind of team lead and some kind of operations manager to work with clients and then to work with the rest of the team. And those are going to be big hires. And it's like I need to probably get to $50K a month before I could swing those, before they make sense, which is very stressful to me because those are big hires. And then I'm managing more people and more money. I don't really like that, but I think my life would be a lot easier with those things. So that's my priority this quarter, is a few more video editors, videographer, ads specialist, and then start to build out the roles for team lead and my operations manager. Once I have those, I think it'll be a lot easier. Like I said, we're at 25 to 30 right now with a very, very tight team. And so pouring into that is going to help me a ton. So that's the focus for day number 7. We'll see you guys tomorrow for day number 8.